G'day folks, today we're going to cover all of the common features for the Forte SR range of caravans. We're going to cover off all of the stuff that you need to know to get on the road safely, so let's get into it. Once you've reversed into your caravan site, or driven through if you're lucky, you're going to come along to the back of your car and the front of your van. Make sure your handbrake is applied, lock that on there, put your jockey wheel down. Once your jockey wheel's down, you can take your safety pin off of your hitch, just lift that one up there, undo your breakaway, take your Anderson plug off, undo your 12-pin plug, making sure they're tucked up out of the way. You're just going to wind your jockey wheel up till it lifts off your hitch on your car. Once that's up and out of the way and you know your van isn't going to move, if you're using leveling ramps or wheel chocks, you know that that's rested on there. You can then undo your safety chains. Just make sure that you put them back onto the hook that we put onto the drawbars here, just so they're neat and tidy and up and out of the way. It's as simple as that. Drop this back down, put your safety pin back in, move your car out of the way, park it, then you're all good to go. On all of our MDC vans, you will find 4 stabiliser legs, 2 at the rear, 2 at the front. Once you've pulled into your caravan site, or if you're off grid, pulled up somewhere, you're going to want to stabilise your van by putting down your legs. You're going to come along, take the pressure off the leg itself, pull the blue latch, then let it fold all the way down to where it naturally rests, ensuring that latch pushes back in. You don't want this moving around while you're stabilising your van. You're going to take your winder, insert it in, and in a counterclockwise motion, you're going to push it all the way down so you've got pressure on it. Once that's in and down level, you know that your van is stabilised. You're going to go around, do your 2 at the rear, and then do your other 1 at the front. Need to say that these are stabiliser legs. They're not to be used for levelling your van. That is what levelling ramps and chocks are for. So once these are down and your van is stable, you cannot use them to change the level of your van at all. Once that's done, you can go inside and start setting up your van. So with the Forte SR series, when you pull up at a caravan site or at home, you're going to need to plug it into mains power. So the van requires 240 power, 1 to charge the batteries, 2 to run all your 240 outlets. On the bigger vans, to run your microwaves and your air conditioners. You're going to need 240 power, and to do that, at a caravan park, you need a 15 amp plug. Just going to take that, plug it into the power box. Once that's plugged in, then go around to your van and plug that into power as well. So once you're plugged into 240 power, you're going to take the van end of your lead, bring it along here, undo your 240 volt cover, simply plug your van in, ensuring that it's tucked up out of the way on the little hook that we provide. That's just to stop the pulling on the power cord itself. If you are at home though, you're not going to have 15 amp power. You're going to need one of these little things. It's a 10 to 15 amp converter. So you're going to plug that in, and then you can plug that into your van. Once that's plugged in, the exact same process, just hang it off the hook so it's up and out of the way. If you ever find that your van loses power, whether it be from a power surge or a storm, just make sure the first thing you come and check is your little RCD on your 10 to 15 converter. So if it does lose power, that will trip back across, and then you just have to make sure that you switch it back on to push power back through to the van again. Today we're going to run you through how to connect your Forte SR caravans to mains water. Behind me, the hose is connected to the mains water line. I haven't turned it on yet. So you're going to come up to your van, pull back on your hose, push on firmly like that. You also need to ensure when you're hooked up to mains water that your water pump is turned off inside at the isolator board. If you don't turn your water pump off, the van will continue to try and pull water from your water tanks. So on all of our vans you have a water tank. Some of our vans have grey water tanks. Just insert the little square key into the hole, turn it a quarter turn to the left, and then this will come out. To fill up your water tank, you're going to take the hose and push it in like that. You're gonna let it fill up. When your tank is full, there is actually a little bleeder hole at the top. When water is coming out of that, you know your tank is full all the way. You're gonna pull your hose out, and then in the reverse process, just put your cap back on there and a little quarter turn back again and your key will come out. On this particular van, it has a front tank, a rear tank, and a grey water flush. So that is for your grey water tank. We suggest you run a tank clean through your grey water tank just to get all the yucky stuff out. Some people use vinegar, some people will use an actual tank flush that you can get. Just put it in through the hole here using a funnel, fill up your tank, let it wash out. It'll also prevent gunk from building up on your water tank sensors. It is a good way to ensure that your tanks are clean. With your rear water tank on this model as well. Again, quarter turn, pull it out like that. Something to remember with your vans that have two water tanks, a rear and a front, is to use your tank selector tap underneath the van to draw water from your rear tank before your front tank. Just keeps your ball weight forward over the tow ball. While we're here, I'm just going to point out your Truma hot water system dust cover, just how to take that off. Place your thumb against the image that is on the top, use your other fingers to open it. Once that's open, just put it in your tunnel boot so that it's out of the way, also so you don't lose it. You need to take this off to operate your hot water system in all of our vans. In particular, this is an intake as well as an exhaust. To put it back on, it's going to line up the lugs at the bottom, from the bottom over the top, give it a little tap so that it's nice and secure. And that's how you use your water tanks on your Forte SR range of caravans. All right, now we're going to set up our electric awning on our Forte SR11. All of our Forte range, from the 9 to the 19, have the exact same electric awning. When you're going to come into your van, you're going to ensure that your red isolator toggle switch inside is turned on. You're going to come out to near your door, turn your safety switch to on, and then just flick your three-way switch up to on as your awning comes out. If it is windy, you're going to need to support it so it doesn't flap around. I like to come along and pull one leg down, have it out ready to go into the foot latch at the back here. You can take the tension off and put it straight into that so that it is up and out of the way. Once it's all the way out, you're going to come along here, lift it up so that it's out of the way, and then you're just going to tighten it up. The Forte range differs from our other models that we make in that it doesn't have a cam lock. It's actually got a wing nut. I'm going to come along to this one here. Just going to demonstrate this one. Just put it straight down to the ground. Push it in there so that it's nice and level. Once that's done, you're going to go inside and you're going to turn your switch to off so that you don't accidentally bump it, pulling the awning in while the legs are extended. Something to remember around your awning legs is when you're pulling your awning out, you need to make sure that your leg is fully extended from the knuckle. I like to lever against my hand to pull it all the way out. If you don't pull it all the way out from the knuckle, these are plastic and they will break. Once it's all the way out, you're going to lower this leg down. On this one in particular, going to make sure that it is up high enough so that you can close your door. It'll also help with any water runoff, especially if your kitchen one is lower. Once that's up all the way, you're going to come and unlatch here and just ensure that you can close your door properly. Once that's set up, you're all good to go. Okay folks, now we're going to run you through how to remove your dust cover from your caravan door. These are designed to prevent dust from ingressing through your door vent. You're going to lift these two latches, one on either side, so that the actual locking mechanism disengages. You're going to push slightly on the dust cover itself, pulling the latches back, just with the palm of your hand, strike it gently so that it comes all the way off. I like to put this in my tunnel boot so that I can keep it up and out of the way. You just have to remember, obviously, when you leave camp, you have to put it back on. To put it back on, just align the pins with the bottom of the door cover itself. Pull it all the way on so it is firmly tightened. Then you just, in reverse, apply your latches. Something to remember is you physically cannot open your door while this is on, so you always have to remove it before you get into your caravan. Now we're going to show you how to open your door on your Forte SR Caravan. It is a door, but it is a little bit tricky sometimes. To open your door, you're going to pull your handle back to the middle of the door. This also works in reverse on van doors that face the other way. So you're going to open the door by pulling your handle, and then it will open up like this. Something else to highlight on this door as well is there's a little black tab here. You pull that, your door will actually come apart. So you can have the main part of the door pushed back here, and then you've got your screen section that you can allow breeze to come in and out. To push your door back together, you're going to ensure that the guillotine latches are firmly fastened by just giving it a little pinch or a little clap. This door has some cool features. You can use this silver hook to partially lock your door back. It also has a wire bar so that you can lock the door open so it's out of the way when you're coming in and out of the caravan. To close your door, it is the reverse process. So you're just going to push it shut on the inside of the caravan, push your handle down to engage your locking lugs. It'll also allow you to turn the lock on the inside of the caravan. On the outside of the caravan, you're going to lock your door by pushing your door handle away from the center of the door. Then you can lock it with your key. Now we're just going to run you through your power control panel in your Forte SR range of caravans. It is essentially the same across the entire Forte range. The location will vary depending on what model you have. In this particular configuration, you've got your resettable fuses across the top, you've got your main isolator switch, and then you've got your paddle switches that control your toilet and fridge, your DC outlets, your water pump and your gauge, your hot water system, and then you have a spare. In this model as well, you've got your Projecta IC50 control panel. That's what controls your power input rates depending on whether or not you're hooked up to a generator or 240 power. If you have any other questions about the Projecta IC50, please refer to the video on that one, and you can also download the owner's manual. So now we're going to run you through the power system in the Forte SR range of caravans. In this model in particular, you have the Projecta BM500BT battery management system. So you can come up to the actual panel itself and you can cycle through. It'll show your voltage, it gives you a good read on what your battery capacity is. It'll show your current, so your wattage in and out. It'll also show your battery capacity as a full percentage, and then time to go. On this one, because the battery is connected to shore power, it's not going to show you how long the battery has until it runs out. Now I'll just show you specifically on this one the cool app that it has. So the first time you connect to the BM500BT, you're going to need to find your device in the app. It shows up here. You're going to confirm. The first time you connect to the app, it's going to show 3 numbers on the control panel itself. You're going to put those in as your password. So for this one as an example, the last 3 numbers on the serial on the app were 332. That's what showed up on the control panel. As you come through here, you can actually see your battery capacity, time to go, the type of battery it is, the voltage, the current. It's currently not taking in power, it's only putting in 0.1 of an amp. You've got your temperature, which is your ambient temperature in your battery control box, and then you've got your battery capacity. If you go into settings, something to remember on this one is if you go into information, it'll show you the model, so the PM shunt as well as the BM500BT. The shunt is actually mounted next to the battery. Occasionally these will need updates, so if you open up the app and it says to update the shunt or the BM500BT monitor itself, you always have to remember to update it as soon as it requests it, otherwise it'll throw an error code in the system. Then you can come through here, show your Bluetooth connection, your general settings, which we set for you in the factory, as well as your battery settings. So that's something that we as a manufacturer do for these. In your alarm settings, you can actually disable and enable the buzzer. We suggest that you don't, so that you can always hear if something is going wrong with your battery management system. And that's how you use the BM500BT from Projecta in your Forte SR range of caravans. I'm just going to run you through your Projecta PW 1600 watt pure sine wave inverter in your Forte SR range. It has a digital display that gets mounted inside the van. It also has a digital display on the inverter itself. This unit will put out 1600 watts of continuous power. It'll put out 1920 watts for 10 minutes of power. So that's good for things like your coffee machine or your toaster. Projecta PW 1600 has got 2 power points built into the unit, as well as a USB C outlet and a standard USB outlet. So you can charge your phone, laptop chargers at the 65 watt range and upwards to the 100 watt range. This control panel is also used for any troubleshooting scenarios that might arise. On this control panel, you'll see the voltage. That'll kind of give you a rough guide of how much power is still available in your battery. You'll also be able to see your wattage that's being used. That'll show how much power is being drawn by any appliances that you have plugged into the inverter. We're just going to run you through how to operate your Truma ultra rapid hot water system in your Forte SR series. A couple of things to remember with this system. You need to ensure that you're either connected to mains water or that you have your water pump turned on by turning it on at the main control panel. While you're turning on your water pump, just flick on your hot water system switch on your main isolator switchboard. You're going to go around to the front of your van, turn on your gas bottles. While you're at the front of the van turning your gas bottles on, just go around the driver's side and remove your hot water system vent. You need to remove that because it is an intake and an exhaust at the same time. A little tip to remember, if your hot water system isn't turning on, just go up to that intake and blow gently on the top of the exhaust system. It'll push oxygen through the intake and just encourage that gas to ignite. Coming inside to your kitchen, if you've got a kitchen inside, or using your external kitchen, and just running your gas through your lines by igniting one of your burners. Once that's done, you're going to come inside. On this control panel, either flick it to 60 or 70 degrees. 60 degrees is up, 70 degrees is down. When you flick that on, you'll hear a tick. That's the system engaging. You'll hear it trying to turn on the gas. Once it turns on, you'll hear a slight whoosh. Give it 5 to 10 minutes and the water will heat up. It'll depend on ambient temperatures. Obviously, if it's warmer outside, it's going to heat up faster. If it's cooler outside, it's going to take a little bit longer. Something to remember with this system, if there is no light that comes on, that means that the system is working as it is intended. If the light does turn on, you're going to come back, switch your panel off, run it down to the bottom, all the way up to the top, all the way down to the bottom, and then back to the middle. It's a hard reset for this system, then you can start the process again, switching it up to 60 degrees or down to 70 degrees. If it is your first time operating the Truma ultra rapid hot water system, it can take 5 to 10 attempts to turn it on. So you just work through that process and then you'll be able to have a nice hot shower or run water through your kitchen. Now we're just going to run you through your Thetford C400 toilet cassette on your SR17 and SR11 Caravans. To open it, on your key set there is a Thetford key. Just going to push that in, turn it. I'm going to push in on the lock button as well as the button at the top. Open that, push it up out of the way. To fill this particular unit, you need to pull your cassette out slightly, pull the little funnel out. On this model in particular, there is a visi gauge. You're going to pull this opening funnel here, take off the lid, push in the little provided green funnel from Thetford. You're going to fill this up with water. If water is coming out of this, it doesn't mean that the reservoir is full. You need to keep an eye on the visi gauge in particular. When it is full, just going to put the lid back on here and push it out of the way. Make sure that you store the funnel back where it came from and then push it all the way in like so. To pull your cassette out, you need to ensure that the gate is closed inside on the toilet. Once that is closed, you can come outside here. There is a little green handle underneath. Just going to lift that up and then pull the cassette all the way out so that then you can proceed to empty it. It does have some wheels and a nice little handle that extends on this model in particular. You can take it for a little walk. Once you find your dump point, you're going to turn this away, ensuring you don't lose your funnel. You're going to take this and this lid off in particular, placing this into your dump point, and then you're just going to push this little green button. It'll allow air to flow through the cassette itself, emptying the cassette and all of the stuff that's in it. To put it back in, ensure that your lid is on. Your lid is on properly. Place the funnel back where it belongs. Close this one up, and then you're just going to slide it back in, making sure that it is nice and secure. Just going to close the door, pushing it firmly closed, and then locking it. Now I'm going to show you the Thetford C200 toilet cassette that is on our Forte SR14, both of our 16s, the SR19 and the SR22 club. Using a Thetford key, just unlock that, open it up. Much like the other cassette, you need to make sure that the gate is closed on the inside of your toilet before you pull the cassette out. On this model, you've got a little yellow handle underneath. So you just pull it out like that. And then to empty it, open this up, turn it away into the dump point, take your cap off, pushing this yellow button to allow air to flow through, emptying your toilet cassette. You can also pull this out, open this up to flush any debris that's in there out as well. When you're putting it back in, you have to make sure that this gate is closed. You push this top cover back on, closing up your drainage point, pushing it back through. Cool feature about the C200 is that it is plumbed directly into your fresh water tanks. It'll also run directly off your mains water inlet when you're plugged into shore water. And that is how you use the C200 from Thetford. So on all of our Forte SR range of caravans, we have the Eagle Eyes reverse camera. It is designed to run off of the 12-volt system. Now this would normally be plugged into your car, so you can plug that straight in. The system has been paired with the caravan that you purchased. If you ever lose pairing on the monitor itself in your vehicle, you're just going to jump into menu by pressing the M, then pressing this little circle arrow button. It'll run through the pairing process. It takes about 20 seconds and it will pair back up to the caravan. Inside this box here, you will find your owner's manual and the mount for the caravan itself. So I've just put this on the side of the van. So this would normally be mounted on the inside of your windscreen. Just doing it on the side of the caravan for illustrative purposes. I'm going to push that firmly against the screen, push down on the lever. That is nice and firm on your windscreen now. The camera monitor itself is designed to slide onto these 4 little stud brackets. The bar itself is movable. It is very, very tight, but once it's on there, it's not going to bounce around while you're driving. So that is how you use the Escape Eyes monitor for your Forte SR range of caravans. Cool feature about the Forte SR range is selected models have the Dometic FreshJet Aircon. You need to remember to make sure you're hooked up to shore power and you've got 240 volt coming through your van. First thing you need to do is find the air conditioner switch in your van. The location varies. On this particular model, it is up on above the door to the right. And then find your Dometic remote. Just turn it on, push the power switch, it'll make the aircon come on. You can then select the fan speed, temperature and mode. Really cool feature about the Dometic FreshJet air conditioners is that you can come up to this touch panel that is on the air conditioner and you can turn it on at the touch panel on the air conditioner itself. Something to remember with your Dometic FreshJet air conditioner is to turn it off via the remote control or the control panel itself, not to switch it off at the isolation switch or just by pulling out your 240 power supply. That will cause the fuse inside the air conditioner to trip itself, which will mean you'll have to reset it. And that's how you operate the Dometic FreshJet aircons in your Forte SR range. Now we're just going to run you through the operation of your Thetford fridge in your Forte SR caravan. Up the top here on the control panel, if you push on it, it's a touch panel. You've got your power switch. If you hold that in, it'll turn off the fridge. Then you just come back through, holding the button in to turn the fridge on. Then you can select how cold you want your fridge by pushing on the panel, holding it in for about 3 seconds, and then you can select what temperature you want your fridge to be sitting at. In this model, it also has a freezer compartment, so you can select how cold you want your freezer as well. And then on all of our Thetford fridges, there is a night mode, which runs the compressor low during the night. So that's how you use your Thetford fridges in your Forte SR range of caravans. Today we're going to run you through the process of hooking up your Forte SR caravan. So you reverse your car up, you've been assured that your A-frame and your hitch is above your tow ball. You're going to bring your car back level with it. When you're standing over it, you can see that the ball itself is over your hitch. You're just going to lower the jockey wheel, ensuring that it lowers onto the hitch itself, all the way down until the weight is off the jockey wheel. Once the weight is off the jockey wheel, just going to secure your hitch, put your safety pin into place, just lift up your jockey wheel so that it's out of the way, and then we can proceed with the process of hooking up your van. Always ensure that your safety chains are crossed over, so the left hand side chain goes to your right hand side of your tow ball and vice versa. Always remember to hook up your breakaway, making sure that the cable isn't tangled. You're going to hook up your 12-pin plug. In the 12-pin, you've got your 7 normal pins like you would on a 7-pin trailer plug, but number 12 is the switching active. So that allows the DC in the Caravan to pull power from the car, and it lets smart alternators know that power needs to go backwards to the Caravan. Just going to push that in, make sure that it's firmly into place. Clicks in there so the cover locks it in. You're going to take your 50 amp Anderson, push that in as well, make sure that it's nice and secure. You're going to let go of your handbrake and you're all good to get on with your day. That's been everything you need to know about our Forte SR range of caravans. Please remember to download your owner's manual before you hit the road. You can also reach out to any of our customer service reps on our 1300 number. You can also join our Facebook group, the MDC and AusRV Owners Group. If you need to find any more videos about our Forte SR range, you can find them here and here. Until next time, I hope you enjoy your day.